Call my name. Call my name.
Pimp shit.
Call my name.
Yo, it's your boy Seneca Damon. It's Raw Radio Talk. To the right or to the left of me is Remy. And then we got my chick, the realest chick, Switch. What's going on? How you doing up in PA?
Oh, man. I'm missing New York, believe it or not. I mean, I'm ready for this pandemic to be over. I'm an extrovert, a social person. But it is what it is. Got to stay safe. Got to stay healthy. But you guys look good. You guys look like you've been getting your workouts in the quarantine.
Nah, you know, we just trying to stay healthy. A little basics, you know, the everydays. That's it.
You're saying no, and then Remy's like, yeah, a little bit.
You know, we trying. We trying to just stay pandemically healthy. You know, that's all we can do right now. But what's going on with your finger over there? I see you lifted it up. Tell the people what you're doing over there.
Well, the cat's out of the bag. Hoping to cover this up, but I guess I didn't do a good enough job. So I was peeling an orange for some old fashions. I like to make cocktails, like those are my thing. And just went too hard with the peeler. So like the top third of my nail and the very tip of my pinky, it's gone. It is no longer there. So wish me lots of positive energy and healing, because I'm not going to the hospital during COVID. That's for sure.
No, definitely. I mean, yeah, you know, you might come up with it, you know, somehow, and you know, you might get paid $16,000 for, $13,000 if you got it, and you get $36,000 if you get the ventilator. So I don't think
the bill is going to come back, and really they're going to probably do the same thing I did, which was just put a bunch of bandages over it and hope for the best.
Yeah, definitely.
Are you gonna get surgically attached?
Oh no, it wasn't that much to a point where like
you had to, you know, keep the pinky on ice, right? You didn't have to do all that.
Yeah, I had to just stop the bleeding.
Right.
Like I'm gonna probably just have a flat part on the tip of my pinky. I don't want to start the show grossing everybody out, but it was bad. But, you know,
that's not your shooting hand anyway. So you good?
Exactly. This is my offhand.
That's why she chill right now. She smell. Had it been the other hand,
I still got
like,
this.
Man,
I got this.
Exactly. She would have been complaining right now. But hey, what's been going on as far as have you been checking the news? I know we had a lot we talked about earlier. You know, it's always seems like we come on here and we want to talk about, you know, some positives and what's popping and what's going on. We knew it's a pandemic. Everybody knows that. But it seems like every time we turn around, we're talking about somebody getting shot and
by the cops.
Somebody being black. I don't understand what's going on. And you the beautiful white girl on the show. I'm sure you're like, God damn, every time I'm talking, I mean, I love you, but I'm trying to, my people, what's going on? What's up with your brothers?
I mean, it was so hard for me to watch that video. Obviously, the shooting that happened in Georgia, where like literally just trying to get some exercise and go on a run. You know what I mean? And like it was like the first time where I was like, wow, that wrecked me. Not the first time, I guess, just the most recent, I should say. Let me take that back, which is sickening in itself. But I felt like I had to share it. It was one of those things of everyone keeps saying they didn't arrest people because they saw it. They arrested people because we finally saw it. Right. And it was just like, we have to keep sharing it. We have to keep showing it. This is just in cold blood. I did start thinking about you guys and all my close friends that, you know, have to deal with this prejudice. Like, what the hell can you do anymore? You can't even go out for a run?
Yeah, right.
Like, they're clearly just two white guys with an ego complex. One was an ex-cop.
Three white guys, actually. I remember seeing. I saw three in the video, but only two of them got arrested. I don't even get that.
Yeah. Well, it's crazy to me, too, because right away people started talking about, apparently there were, like, burglaries in the area, and they think he was scoping out. At the end of the day, so fucking what?
Exactly.
You have zero authority to get guns and start pointing them at people and shooting them and killing them. It doesn't. I'm sorry. I'd rant for too long.
No, I'm good. The problem in Georgia is they do have a civil arrest, and that's where they try to use that, and that's why they actually had the audacity to put a video up, like everything was all good. He's trying to say, like, we're going to show you what's going on, but all you showed was somebody jogging. Even if he was looking at an abandoned house, what the fuck did that got to do with anything?
But again, what civil arrest are you trying to do, right? So he had nothing on him. He's wearing gym shorts. He's wearing a T-shirt. You have zero evidence that it's him. He doesn't have any paraphernalia on him. He didn't come from any robbery because he has nothing in his pockets. Like, what are you citizen arresting on? A hunch?
And then
everything that they say is bullshit.
Keep it in the house of an abandoned building. What the hell does that got to do with anything? Like, who cares? It doesn't make sense.
So just to cover up the racist act of them shooting the black man that was going out for an innocent jog in cold blood. And that's the bottom line at the end of the day. Like, you know, when these people start to take the law in their own hands, that's when it becomes.
Well, the thing is, when you put the law in their hands, that's the problem. They should never have that authority to begin with. Then they wouldn't have the confidence to actually go out and do something like that and actually report it and feel like it's all good. And then we got to jump over to Indianapolis. Then, you know, we got a guy that, you know, he broke the law based on what he's saying. You know, basically he's got a live Facebook Live, what they say, keyword. He's on a run, supposedly, in the car. You know, he's saying somebody got to come out here and help me. But my thing is, let's make sure he wasn't on a run from them. Because maybe he was scared because of whatever else may be. Because they try to make it sound like he's actually on the run from doing something wrong.
Right.
But we don't even know that. So let me retract that. Then, you know, they stop. He gets out the car, or he stops, gets out the car. He's screaming, "Hey, somebody come get me. Somebody come get me." They hit him with the taser. Okay, he hits the ground. That's it. Nothing else needs to be done. Then they shoot him up 5 times, 15 shots. Ridiculous. It's a consistency of, you know, cop brutality. You know what I'm saying? And that's the problem. It's ridiculous. It's consistent.
Two things really stood out for me for the first one with Maude, as far as one, like, he was legitimately hunted. Like, that is so disturbing that this is going on in the world that we live in, that people will get into their truck and grab their guns and hunt down an individual. And clearly race was the reason. Like, let's just, every excuse that everyone's trying to make, you're lying.
Yeah.
And then the other part that just, like, really made me think is, and one of these dudes, or maybe all three of them at some point, were affiliated with justice or police or being a cop. Think of everything they did while they were a cop. If this is what you do that finally got brought out into the open, that you're just feeling so powerful that you can get away with anything, what about when everybody wasn't looking and shit wasn't on camera? Like, that shook me to my core after seeing, holy shit, this is what this guy does, and this is the type of person he is, even without being the badge, the one guy being retired. Think about when he was actively wearing the badge. Right. Like, it's just, it is so fucked.
And he's like a DA is what they're saying, a retired DA. I'll ask you a question, Switz, and we'll see. It only makes sense. If you're in an area, because this is what the problem is, this is what's going on, actually. If you're in an area where you're uncomfortable, let's just say you're in a black neighborhood, let's just say that, and you're uncomfortable, you feel like, man, this surrounding ain't what it need to be. Are you going to, and you have to have a weapon on you, are you going to continue to stay in the area, or are you going to remove yourself from the area? I'm asking for a reason. What would you do?
I mean, of course you're going to remove yourself from the area.
Exactly. And the reason why is because you don't want to have to do what?
Don't want to have to use the weapon.
Exactly. So guess what? For all the police officers out there, all the people that are out there that are Caucasian, Asian, or whatever, Shun, the point is, if you ain't comfortable, you need to leave the job or leave the area. There's no purpose for you to be there, or you need to find a way to be comfortable. Because the problem right now is they're doing a job they're not comfortable with. Working around people, African Americans, urban neighborhoods with different races they're not comfortable with. And that's why they're pulling a weapon, because they have it on them. In fear, you do things that you might not do. So even when they're saying, I was in fear or I didn't, they probably telling the truth, but guess what? You should have never took the job. Right. If you weren't comfortable, because these are the things that, or you should have asked to be reassigned. Because at the end of the day, it's like going to war. And the thing is funny about this is most officers are ex-Marines and they come from an environment of war. So you're saying going into a black or African American or urban neighborhood is worse than being at war. That's just crazy to think of it like that, because that's the truth. I'll say a high percentage of cops are coming from military backgrounds. So my thing is, if you can't handle it, you need to say it and be truthful with yourself. Maybe I shouldn't be doing this profession. If I'm nervous, if I'm antsy, and I know I can't really, don't know how to make the best decisions, maybe I should, ask to be reassigned, or I need to get a different job.
But the reason why for me that it's in these scenarios that it's still bullshit to me when they say that. We're talking about unarmed, zero threat being presented to you. You know what I mean? Like it's almost like every single time they're just saying this. I feared for my safety.
Oh no,
and
no,
I'm sorry, bullshit. Like one, I get you. I agree with you completely. Like whenever it comes to that, you're going to be nervous no matter what. That's just a human feeling. Like it's the best of the best that can control it. That could be in this line of work because you're always going to get nervous. You're always going to have doubt. Whatever it's going to be, it's how you can push through that. But when they're saying I feared for my life, like this gentleman, like you said in Indiana, that's on the ground already tased, someone just running down the street, Garner, Castro, everyone that was showing no threat whatsoever, doing exactly what they were told, or just saying, nope, I'm going to stay right here. I'm not going to do anything. Just leave me alone. And then they still end up dead.
Right.
There was no threat. Like no one should be getting out of trial. No one should be allowed to walk free. If there's ever cases where there's unarmed individuals and you kill them, less than going to jail for life is not justice.
What I will say, and I definitely ain't rocking with the popo. I can tell you that right now. But what I will say is, shouts out to the female officers, because you don't really hear a whole bunch of nonsense going on with the female officers. And I'm sure it's a few, but I haven't heard of a lot of incidents. And you would think a female officer, because you're talking about threat, you're talking about males. A lot of these instances all with males. We're not hearing a lot of them with females. There's some too with females, but mostly males. You're not hearing a female officer getting scared and shooting somebody, or they're definitely not going to be the same strength as a male majority of the time. Majority. So shouts out, because at least they're able to keep themselves composed to where you're not hearing of them shooting and using that as an excuse. If this was a female incident, which again is still no excuse, at least you could say, I understand, maybe she shouldn't have been in that position, whatever, but it's always a male. On top of that, that's what makes it even worse. You're not hearing about this, with female cops. So that's how you know it's full of shit, like you said. And if it's not, guess what? If it's not, then you shouldn't have the job. It's just that simple. If it's not, then you just shouldn't have the job.
You want to know why you don't really hear about it with women?
Because they don't have an ego.
Because the majority of white supremacists in America are the white male.
Right. Yeah.
It's the ones pushing this agenda. It's the ones that are this type. And again, I don't want to go on a rant like not all cops are bad. Like clearly Seneca just shouted out a lot of the women in the force that are cool, calm, collected. I'm sure there's some amazing white males out there that are doing their job to the best of their ability. I remember on Instagram, I love that cop that'll go and shoot hoops and play sports with everybody in the neighborhood. Right. There are some great ones out there, but it's stories like these that bring to life that we are so far off the mark if we think that this is still not going on present in 2020. And there's still a lot of them out there, because as soon as something happens, you see all these comments of people trying to defend what they did. Right. And that's the fucking problem.
Right. You said the key. And that's why, exactly, and whether it's right or wrong, you're all one. I can't divide you. I'm sorry. So you chose to be a cop. So what comes with being a cop when it comes to the African-American community is we don't fuck with you. I'm sorry. You're part of that gang. That's what it is at this point. Because it can't just say you're a part of the department, because the departments don't run this shit like that. You're part of an organized gang at this point that feels like you can do whatever you want to do. So because you chose to be a part of that, you choose to get the backlash that comes from it. I'm sorry. It's just what it is. We can't keep on dividing and saying, well, this good one, this bad one, this good. Unfortunately, when it comes down to you or us, you're going to choose you at the end of the day. And that's just what it is. And we got to choose us. If we keep on choosing you, choosing to defend you, even when it's bad, we always say, well, it's not truly bad. We got some that are good. Sorry. At the end of the day, as a whole, collectively,
differentiate.
As a collective whole, we keep seeing too many bad things happen. So as far as we're concerned, as a whole, you guys, we don't deal with you. And that's why it comes down that way. So if you can't understand that, just like if the Bloods and Crips were shooting your ass up right now, you ain't going to say, well, we got a couple Crips in Kershaw or in New York that we know are good guys. We know them, and they never bother nobody. But the rest of them are good. No, you're going to say all of them. And when they speak about gangs that we know of or we've heard of, they all speak about them as negative. You've never heard about, I know a couple great gangsters. We never heard that shit. So we thinking of you the same way. You ain't got a couple great cops. I'm sorry. Because at the end of the day, you're going to defend your other officers first. And that's just what it is. So if you don't know now, you know. That's what it is.
I mean, completely understand. I mean, it's said, perfectly eloquently, makes you understand why there's such a huge divide in this country today. You almost feel like it has to be us versus them just for something to be done. Like for change to be made, it's almost like you have to put everybody in that box. And I understand your viewpoint because you need everyone else to call out what's going on too. If you're a part of the brotherhood and you're not calling it out, well, then it's almost like you're a part of it. So I kind of understand your viewpoint and how you feel on that because you're the one that lives it. You're the one that now probably after seeing these stories that have come out, you're extra stressed whenever you can finally walk down the street, whenever you can go outside. Like
I'll be honest with you. I never, and I'm blessed. I'm not one to have that fear because you know what? Only thing I can do is what I can do. I'm blessed that I have a different personality and mindset, but I know a lot of other people don't. Because at the end of the day, it's no man, woman that's going to make me walk in fear because of what they can do. Because I already know what they can do, Yeah. And at the end of the day, it's one of those things where I'm not going to be able to change their mentality of what they want to do. It's no money, So I'm not even going to try to walk around as if I got to worry about something. At the end of the day, I know I'm aware. I'm gonna be smart. I'm not gonna be ignorant, but I'm not gonna walk around in fear. At the end of the day, I'm just not gonna put myself in those situations as best as possible to even have to deal with it. That's my thing.
The biggest thing is how are arrests not made immediately?
Oh, we said the same thing. Exactly.
Like literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 30. Someone was killed in cold blood in broad daylight in the middle of the street. What is going on? Are you kidding me? If the shoe was on the other foot,
well, we already
had been in jail that night.
Trayvon Martin was the same thing. Yeah. And he walked away chilling, writing books about it.
I can't, man. I can't. It's just whenever I feel like we're saying this every time, right?
Yep.
Just when you think it can't get any worse. Right? Like it was always like, oh, well, they were fighting. Well, they were resisting. No matter what excuses you try to make. Now we have one where there's like zero excuse.
Right.
Running down the street.
He was jogging.
And I grew up around so many athletes in college, like it extra hard. Thinking about all my friends, like they could just be trying to get back in shape for ball. You know what I mean? And this is what they got to deal with.
Right.
It's heartbreaking, man. It's heartbreaking. I get what you're saying. Like we want to talk about positive and try and stay in a right mindset because we're in quarantine, and then it's like shit like this will just make you go crazy.
Right. And for this to happen while we're in quarantine is like,
Yeah, it's ridiculous. But it's same old. It's always seemed like we're talking about it. But what we're going to talk about right now is that sports with Switch. What we got this week? What we got going on? What you talking about?
Well, there's 3 things that I kind of want to touch on. Obviously, everyone's been watching The Last Dance, so we can come on that. But I was really surprised. I don't really follow UFC, but the whole reason I just had to look into this article on ESPN is I'm really surprised, and maybe this will change how sports are going to move going forward. A fighter tested positive for COVID, right? So he lived in Florida. He came to the Jacksonville facility, and he was like, hey, just want to give you a heads up. One of my family members might have had it. They test this fighter. He does come back positive. So him and his crew side, they're basically like, well, sorry, you're out of the tournament. You're done. But they're still letting everybody else go on and continue with their fighting and continuing with the card. It's actually tonight, UFC 249. So for me, I'm caught in the middle of, I guess they're not erring on the complete side of caution, like when this pandemic first happened. Right. So I'm a little uneasy about that, but I'm almost applauding them. If you've done your safety and you've done your due diligence and you really believe that there's no risk and you want to continue on with this event because there's no fans that are going to be there, it's almost kind of like golf clap. Maybe. Right. I don't know. Like if you guys were one of those fighters, right? And you're not even facing that guy, but you're in the fight, but you know someone who was on premise who got tested did have it, but they're assuring you it's safe though. And remember, this is your livelihood and your job. Are you still participating in that tournament? Are you still fighting tonight in the card?
No.
Based on the information that I know about it,
I'm not fighting.
I'm a fighter.
Is just going to go outside, be walking down the street, no mask.
Yeah.
He's ready to go back to
Yeah,
civilization.
I've been doing it.
No PPE.
Guess what? I've been doing it, and I'm right here. Take that. I'm like Diddy right now.
Man, this Sports with Switz is taking a turn. I'll tell you.
I'm sorry.
Well, the only other thing is we got 2 more episodes released now for The Last Dance. These are the episodes where they decided to try and take a little bit of a hit out of Michael Jordan's character. For those of you that haven't watched it, it just really focused on them winning their second trying to three-peat championship. But then also whenever some controversy came out that Michael Jordan is so much of a gambler that he has a problem. And we've all known that. Anybody that follows sports knows that supposedly he got into it, way too deep. And this is something I'm kind of on the edge on. Like, this was back before Facebook, Instagram, and all this crazy social media. Nowadays, he probably would have had to have gone to some facility because of how much people would have blown it out of proportion. But Michael Jordan is so rich. This is like peanuts to him. Everybody's talking about, he's gambling all the time on the golf course. He's betting like $10,000 on a game.
Don't care. Exactly.
That's like peanuts to him. He doesn't care. He wakes up every morning and there's probably an extra $10 million in his bank account with his Jordan shoes. He'll be rich for his kids' will be rich for the rest of their lives. But I feel like people just stressed on this way too much.
They interviewed his kids. I need to watch that.
Breakfast Club, they interviewed his kids.
They said, like Mike, I mean, I'll tell you one thing. I don't want to be like Mike because he's drinking a lot. If you see his eyes, how yellow they are.
I was about to ask the same thing. What's going on with his eyes?
Jordan didn't age well at all.
No, that's nothing to do with age. That's called Jack Daniels. That's what that's called.
I actually looked it up because it was such a popular trending topic that if you search, like, why is Michael Jordan's eyes
look like jaundice, right?
Nah,
yeah, everyone's talking about it. It could be jaundice. It could be liver problems from drinking.
100%. That's called psoriasis of the liver, and and that's what that's called.
That kills you.
If I could be like Mike, I wouldn't be drinking. You know what I'm saying? Because I've got too much damn money.
He's drinking Mike's hard.
He's drinking.
I do want to ask one question, though, because we all know about how The Last Dance ends. If Jerry Krause would have never broken up the Bulls and said, we're done with Phil Jackson, so if they would have came off essentially winning 6 championships, Michael Jordan obviously aging, but still very much had a lot of years left in him. If they would have never broke up Phil and Scottie and Kerr and Jordan, how many more champions do you think that team would have won?
I mean, they would have won probably like seven, 8. What I think, because they was on a roll.
So you're giving them 2 more total over like the next 3 years.
I think they would have got it. I mean, as long as they let Jordan get his drinks in and let him gamble and let him do what he do.
Switz, Kerr's replaceable. I mean,
nah, Kerr hit them threes when he needed to hit them threes.
Kerr was really clutch, man. I got to say, Paxson and Kerr probably had 2 of the most clutch shots in his career.
Kerr was hitting threes because Jordan going to punch him in his mouth if you know what you're supposed to do. So it's like either you hit the damn 3, punch you in your mouth. So
Kyrie makes the same shot and everybody talks about, he bailed out LeBron.
Right.
But then Jordan has 2 2 guys that make some big shots for him, and he's still the greatest.
He scored like 47 that game. I think he might have bailed him out.
LeBron had 40 that game too.
He hit all 40 before the third quarter. That's the difference. He hit all 40 and in the fourth quarter.
Sometimes being the greatest is you passing it to the right person that's going to make it.
Who knows? Maybe by this time next week when we're talking, there's going to be more sporting events that happen, so we can finally speak about more than just The Last Dance.
And Bagman.
Yeah, exactly. We go ahead and smacking the ball on one of the little trampolines, and I mean, it's everything going on out there.
It's crazy you would say that. Spike ball was just on ESPN earlier today.
It's like
you've seen this where you just hit it on a little net below you, and you just got
a jump, smack it. Like, oh my God, that's a great save! Oh my God.
I thought there was something wrong with their shirts. I thought for sure it was like a club sport or something crazy. And sure as shit, it was Texas A&M and Georgia. And I'm like, this is a college sport now.
And they're like, look, the athletic ability. You got to have the dive in the grass and smack a ball. Like, come on, man. Like, it's like.
It did look really hard. I'm not going to lie. This dude must have like cracked his hip on the floor at least 3 times diving. I'm not going to say it's easy, but I remember when that shit was outside next to Can Jam. I wouldn't consider it a college sport. I think it's great for recreational use.
What it is you got all these damn booster clubs out there in college, and they're like, my son can't play football or basketball. What's that for me? And they're like, we got spike ball. We're coming there. God damn it, Texas A&M spike ball.
Oh my God, Sid.
I don't want to do a club sport. I don't want to do a club. He needs to play a regular NCAA sport just like like Jordan's son.
Yo, they had the banners and everything. They had banners. They had sponsors. This was a legit thing, Seneca.
I know, man. It's crazy. They're getting damn contracts with Nike hand gloves and shit.
Yeah,
Crazy.
It's blown up, man. This is definitely a highlight for me of this show right here. My goodness.
They got a dude. They said they're coming out with a commercial with a dude named Cougar. And he's got his glove. He's like Nike. He's just holding the glove up. Damn it, we'll spike it.
Oh,
But I mean, you would think racquetball or something like that would be a big town sport before damn handball. I mean, it's just went wild. Handball's been in New York for years. I remember when I first came to New York, I used to hear people talking about handball. I'm like, okay, handball. And it's like, yo, no, we nice. He's nice though. You don't know. We nice. I'm like, okay, handball. I went out. I'm like, he's just playing tennis without the goddamn
racket.
Thing. Yeah, it's like
playing tennis with his hands. That
was just, you couldn't afford a racket, and you had a wall, and you didn't have any friends. Oh, let's smack it against the wall. Oh, this is a great sport.
Everyone can tell that you were clearly a football player.
I mean, it's like, come on, man. Like, that makes you a great athlete. Look at his agility. He's able to go across the spike ball court left and right. Like, come on, man, stop.
It's a court. They got a spike
ball. Yeah, they got a spike ball court now. I mean, excuse me, handball court. So spike ball is a spin-off of handball. And
they literally just play in the middle of a basketball court.
It wasn't big enough. It wasn't a big enough sport. They needed an arena.
How many people was in it?
So you can have an arena for spike ball now. For a handball, it's just a little ass area. So they said, what? We need a goddamn arena. So you got John over here. They said, you know what? This is a genius idea. Let's have a damn grass area and put a damn trampoline in the middle of it. And let's put seats all around it. Now our kids can get just as much money in the NCAA as their kids do now. And they can be great athletes because, they're going to get paid on their likeness now, too. We want to get paid, goddammit, too.
And they're in the basketball courts now. What was just on ESPN? They had it set up in the middle of the college basketball court.
It's a trampoline?
It's a trampoline. They're like, we're tired of paying, our kids need to get paid on their likeness, too.
Is it a team sport or individual sport?
It's two people per team, and then there was even people on the bench. They play like rounds. To me, it looked like they had like 8 players on each team.
And they're actually standing there. They got a dude that put the damn powder in his hand and blew it out like LeBron now. They call him LeBlack.
They embellish it now.
It's gone crazy. You know what I mean? I don't know, man. They said, they're tired of us. They're tired of us all around. Goddamn, we're funding all these scholarships. And they're not satisfied. So,
Let us turn around and find out that it was just a club sport. Well, over this weekend, Rem, I hope you check out a couple of games so we can talk about it next time because it might be the only sport that they keep re-showing.
Yeah, let's find out next week. We need to come up with at least 2 new sports. We need at least 1 new sport that nobody ever seen before, and we're gonna talk about it because I even noticed in the Olympics they come with everything. Goddamn badminton's an Olympic sport now.
Now 3-on-3 basketball is an Olympic sport.
Badminton.
Mm-hmm.
Come on now.
Yeah, that's what it is.
But anyway, it's Raw Radio Talk. Check us out Saturdays, 12 o'clock, Dash Radio. 4 o'clock on Facebook, 3 o'clock on IG. It's me, Seneca Damon, Remarkable Remy, and the one and only, the realest chicks, Misfits. We out.
Peace.
Peace.